What took me so long? Full face, Fenty Beauty. We haven't done it yet. I don't know why we haven't, but we're gonna do it today. If you wanna see how to get this look using only Fenty Beauty, then keep watching. Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. I'm gonna put this on top of my existing skincare. And as Mitch would say, my lotions and my potions, they're already on. They're fully absorbed into my skin. Don't you worry. So we're gonna put this on top, and I'm just gonna put this all over. It is really hot outside. I'm filming this in the daytime. This is the only video I'm gonna film today, so that means after this, I'm gonna be out and about in the world rocking my Fenty Beauty full face. So I'm excited for that. So if you see me out there, say hi to me. Okay, primer's on. I do like this primer. I actually carry this one in my Pro Kit. Not this exact one, but another one I have in my Pro Kit. And I do really like it. It feels nice on my skin. So now that that's on, Amplifying Eye Primer. Let's put this on right now and just test it out. So I've never used this. And also, I don't really think I've heard much talk about it, to be quite honest. For an eye base, it feels a lot like an eye cream. Let's mix it up a little bit more. Maybe I'm just not mixing it. Okay, let's see how this ends up working out. I'm gonna tap this in, not with my finger, let's do a brush. Feels very thin. Feels like I said, it feels like an eye cream. Feels very wet. Let's wait, let's let this hopefully dry down before I get to my eyeshadow. I got that all up in my lashes because I was talking. That might cause a problem later on when we're putting mascara on. We'll find out together. So while that's kind of drying down, I want to jump right into skin and complexion. I want to do my complexion. It's something I don't normally do. If I'm going to do like any kind of like intense eye makeup look, I usually do the eyes first, but I really am excited to try this, and I don't plan on making a huge mess with the makeup that I'm doing. Let's try this out. Let's get this on our skin. Like I said, it's the shade 10. Is that all you get? Oh, interesting. Hold on. How many ounces is this? So that's all you get, is what you see here. This is 0.32 ounces. So it's a tint stick. Let me just read about this really quick. Blurs and evens complexion, light coverage, and a smooth glide stick. This feels like a glue stick. Is that all it says? Okay, that's it. All right, well, let's try it out. You don't get a lot of products, so. No, this shade looked... Here's the thing. If you watched my shade matching tip video that is pretty new to my YouTube channel, I posted it maybe like 2 weeks ago. If you watched that video, you'll probably understand why I picked the shade. Okay, so it was like, when it came down to it, I narrowed down obviously the undertone that I needed, which this is a warm undertone, a warm golden undertone. And then from there, I went to the process of elimination in this range of like the level of intensity of the shades, right? So I'm a light medium. I've told you that before. I've talked about that. In that pocket of shades, process of elimination, one was too pink, one was just way too deep. The ones that are like on like the book end of this shade, like the number 10 shade. So I went with the 10. And you know, now that I blended it on, it actually looks fantastic. So goes to show you, don't judge a book by its cover. Even Mitch is giving me the thumbs up because it just blended in. I mean, I was talking, got distracted, and then boom, it's on. It looks fantastic. But when you initially swipe it on, it does not look like it's gonna be a good match for me. I can see how this is more like, it seems a little more forgiving as far as like the shade range. Like maybe it's got some more flexibility since it is a tint. You know, it's like a full coverage foundation where you have to get the right shade, because if you don't, it's going to look like you are wearing a mask of someone else's makeup, and you don't want to do that. This is like a flexible shade. Looks great. Wow. This might be a new go-to. I'll have to continue to test it out, of course, but initial thoughts are, let's do this too. Initial thoughts are, this is really easy, like really easy. I actually would probably use something like this to prime my eyelids as well. See, look at that eyeshadow base is already creasing on my eyelids. And granted, I have oily eyelids and they're very, you know, like this one's really hooded, so that naturally is gonna happen. It's like a fold over that eyeshadow base, but still. Let me take the end of this brush and just blend that out. Okay, definitely dried down though, so that's good to know. But I don't know. That eyeshadow base is probably not gonna be, it's not gonna be something that I'm gonna continue to use, I'm assuming. Probably giving that one away for sure. But that's really pretty. I'm really impressed by this. This is really easy and nice. Can't wait to see how this is gonna wear. You know what else was nice about it is it blended on really easy on top of that primer. And usually like sticks, like stick thick formula products, if you put them on top of a primer, you can kind of like stop them in their tracks and make it more difficult to blend on. These worked really, really nice together. So that gets an A+ for me. I really like that. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about this, finish this blend, I'm gonna bring it down my neck a touch, even though I really hate the feeling of that on my neck. And let's move on. This was nice. Okay, that was really nice. I am very impressed with this. The only thing that like is really kind of shocking is that's all you get. Standard size for foundation is 1 fluid ounce. Like this, for example, I have tons of Fenty stuff, like I told you. The Eazedrop skin blurring or blurring skin tint, this is 1.08 fluid ounces. And their Pro Filter foundation, same 1.08. So I don't know why they went so low on the ounces that you get in this, especially because there's definitely like, there's a lot of wiggle room in here. It's basically half empty. So I don't know why they wouldn't just like fill it up. I don't know. I don't make the rules, I just buy the makeup. So let's do a little bit of concealing because I don't want to do this makeup look looking so tired. So I picked up the shade 210. This is a neutral shade. It claims to be a neutral undertone. This is what I was looking for. I wanted to have more of a neutral undertone for under my eyes. And so far it looks pretty good. Still leaning warm, like a lot of brands these days. Even if it says it's a neutral, they all seem to still lean on the warm golden side of things. But you know, it's okay because Fenty has such an impressive, groundbreaking shade range that we forgive them. I'm gonna tap this in with a damp Huda Beauty sponge. And I just realized I have lipstick on my knuckles. Don't mind me. I was testing out lipstick before I started this video, so that's probably why I was wiping off my hand. Now I'm just gonna do a little pre-blending, and then we're gonna kind of leave this alone. And we're probably gonna add to this after we finish the eyes. But this is gonna be like our first initial round of concealer, just so I can kind of get a good visual of what I want my makeup to look like without anything distracting me. Like for example, my dark under eye circles. So I feel really good now. Really nice concealer, I like that a lot. I don't know why it took me so long to finally get this concealer, but we got it and we're here. And we're gonna put this aside for a minute and we're gonna start on these eyes. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take one of my favorite bronzers from Fenty. This never leaves my makeup kit until I pull it out for this video. So this is the Eyeliner shade. It's the Sunstalker powder bronzer. This shade is, I never leave home without it. It's my go-to. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this bronzer just to add some like warmth and depth to my crease with a 212 brush from BK Beauty. And here's the reason why. So I got this palette, it's the Neutrals palette, but this is a little bit deeper of a mid-tone than I wanna use for the look that I have in mind. So I just wanna take a little bit of this lighter shade just to start defining my crease. Okay, so that eyeshadow primer that I have on underneath is really inhibiting my blend right now. It's like making my brush skip over it. It's like not a smooth blend because of it. Okay, yeah, I'm not a fan of that primer. Sorry, Fenty. You know how much I love you, but I'm not a fan of that eyeshadow primer at all. So now I'm gonna have to do some tapping motions instead, just to smooth over that area so I don't get like a crepey eyeshadow look. Feels very sticky on my eyelid right now. So I would love to know in the comments, what is your favorite, like your must-have Fenty Beauty product? Leave me a comment, let me know. I mean, if this is your first time even seeing Fenty Beauty, or if you haven't tried any of their products before, and if you end up trying their products after this video, leave me a comment, let me know what you end up trying. I'm just curious, and I'll tell you what a couple of my favorite products are. One of them I have not used, or I'm not using in this tutorial because I'm not using the skincare, I'm just using the beauty, like the makeup. But one of my all-time favorite products, and you'll be able to tell by how much is gone, is the Fenty Fat Water. Not the other one, there's two. There's the original formula and then there's this one. This is the Hydrating Milky Toner Essence. This also never leaves my makeup kit. I'm actually low on my makeup kit one as well, so I need to pick up, I don't know, why didn't I pick up more when I was at Sephora? Totally forgot. Anyway, this is one of my all-time favorite products for skin prep. It is phenomenal. The way it like plumps your skin. It just gets it so, it's like a big drink of water for your skin. So I love that. Another one of my favorite go-to products of Fenty has always been Mocha, my Mocha matchstick. This is just, it's something I grab all the time because I know exactly what it's gonna do. I know it's gonna look beautiful on. It's a great formula. It's long lasting. You know, it's like all those good things. Now the other thing that I love, and I might not use it for this tutorial, I'm still debating, is the Fly Liner in Big Truffle is the name of it. It's like a deep chocolatey brown. It's such a beautiful liner. Love that. Okay, so I need to smooth my eyes because that eyeshadow base is just not doing it. So I'm gonna open up this Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. Now we're not gonna use this as a foundation. This is the shade 230. Instead, I'm gonna take this, and this is gonna help to just smooth over my eyelids. There we go. This is exactly what I needed because that eyeshadow base was just not it. This is kind of like the Fenty version of Studio Fix powder from MAC. So it's a powder foundation, full coverage, you know, all those things. So now let's get into this beautiful eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna first start with, we're gonna start with this light neutral, this like light beige. Okay, sorry for all the silence. It's a really nice formula. It's nice. The bar is set so high in my head with Fenty Beauty because all of their products are just knockouts and they just do such a great job that because their bar is set so high, the eyeshadows just, they don't live up to the rest of the products, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So to be fair, they're still great eyeshadows, but they're not like what you would imagine a Fenty Beauty eyeshadow would be. You know, I picture like Pat McGrath style, like just boom, full of pigment, incredible color payoff, incredible blendability, no fallout. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like that level. So that's all. So far, really liking this, the vibe of this eyeshadow look. Now, I should warn you that the overall makeup look, lip focused, okay? So keep that in mind. It's not gonna be a heavy eye makeup look. It's gonna be there, trust me, but it's not gonna be like super intense. Now I'm gonna take that same 212 from BK Beauty and tap just a touch into this color. This looks a lot like, do you remember Saddle from MAC? Okay, so I'm just taking this, tapping it, very light pressure. I don't want this to be super intense, but I want to pull out my eye with it. So I'm kind of just placing the color. Very pigmented. Like I am getting good results with this eyeshadow. The eyeshadow base, not so much, but the eyeshadows, they are working. They're definitely working well. Okay, now we're gonna switch to a clean brush, a big clean 201, also from BK Beauty. And just gonna roughly, or I'm sorry, actually lightly blend that shadow that I placed just up and out, dipping back into a little more. I'm definitely getting a lot of color payoff, I have to say. Definitely, this is a good palette. You know what it was? They launched a palette maybe 2 years ago. It was like one of those long palettes. It was this size. It was launched the same time as this. This is a bronzer palette, actually. I use it as eyeshadow. But it was launched at the same time as that palette. And that palette was just so underwhelming and it was so chalky and it had just a lot of fallout. So, you know, maybe I should just give these a break. It turns out this formula, these small shadows, these little 6-pan shadow palettes are quite pigmented. I mean, I'm not seeing hardly any fallout, so that's nice. And now, switching gears here. Switching my brush, I'm going to use a flat Zoeva brush and dip into this soft rosé type shade. Pretty, very pretty. Gorgeous, love it. Very happy with that. You know what else I'm happy about? I'm very excited for this eyeliner that I got. These are a newer formula. I've never tried them. Super excited. I had to stop myself from getting multiple colors because, you know, I spent a lot of money at Sephora, so I needed to like reel it in. I have a lot of eyeliners. I didn't want to be wasteful, so I only picked up one, but that was very difficult for me to do because they looked like they had so many fun colors. This is what I'm talking about. This is the Fly Pencil Longwear Pencil Eyeliner. I picked up the shade Perpetrator. It's cute. Anyway, it's a really deep purple. It's really beautiful. I swatched it on my hand and I was like, you are definitely coming home with me. So let's do some eyeliner. Twist up or mechanical. I like that packaging. Let's start with a little wing. Wow, this color is just so fantastic. This is so pigmented. Glides on so well. We're gonna do a lot of tight lining. So for the wing portion, I'm being careful. I don't want to be too dramatic. So I'm gonna start in between my top and bottom lashes and then actually just pull it straight out. This is a really great technique if you have hooded eyes and you have a hard time with where to place your eyeliner. Don't worry about that. That's going to be fixed in a minute. But if you have a difficult time and if you have hooded eyes, you have to try that trick and you have to let me know if it works for you. Okay, so before this dries down too much, I'm not that familiar with this pencil. Let's grab a small blending brush. Let's pull this out. To warn you, these dry down very quick. So apply it and do your thing. Blend it out right away because otherwise you're gonna end up with this flaking that I have right here. No, it's pencil. I'm gonna do some connecting top lash line with the bottom. I just switched to a very tiny rougher 23 brush to blend this out. And now let's just go sweep this across the top a little bit more. So here's what I did that you should not do at home. I got distracted. I did a little bit of liner on the side and then I got happy and I decided to do this eye for some reason because in my head when I started this video, I was like, I'm gonna do my more difficult eye. This is my more hooded eye. I call it my more difficult eye because dealing with hooded eyes, you know what I'm talking about. But I forgot. So I did this eye first because it's my natural instinct is to do my easy eye. So flipped over here, but really don't do that. Finish one eye before you move on to the other because this dries down really quick. So don't do what I just did. Do what I say, not as I do, because I don't want you to have a hard time. And the same thing when I connect the bottom and run this touch in my waterline. Check that it's even. I actually went through a lot of this pencil. Let me blend this out. Okay, the eyes are done for the most part, so now I get to move on to mascara. If you know me, you know I love this mascara. This is a really, they have two mascaras, but this formula, I don't like the other one. I don't like the original one. This formula is the one to get. This is the hella thick mascara. A chunk of eyeliner right there. So let's get this on. If you're not careful, or if you get eyeshadow primer on your lashes before putting your mascara on, you might experience some clumping. Okay, I'm gonna open up my butter powder. I have to point out how beautiful this packaging is though. Look, this is a stunning, it's like a crystal. I just wanna like display it on my vanity. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful packaging for this powder. Feels very luxe. I love the little Fenty Beauty logo. Details that show that a brand cares. I'm really big on that. This is gonna be my powder, so I'm gonna pop some into my cap. And what I'm gonna do first is take a clean little half-caked 808 blender brush, dip into some powder, and we're gonna finish these brows, but before we do, we need to powder them down a lot. So that way this brow pencil sticks. As you can see, I don't have a tail to my brow at all, so there's no tail. It's just gone, missing, left me. It said, you don't need me. Now let's use this black brown brow pencil. It's the Brow MVP Ultra Fine Brow Pencil and Styler. So this has a really unique brush to the end of it. I tried these once a long time ago when they first came out. I'm excited to try it again, but this is the brush that I'm talking about. Not that end. It's got like a little mini, yeah, it looks like, Mitch says it looks like a toothbrush. It does look like a toothbrush. I'm not a fan of those brushes, so we're probably not going to use that, but I am a fan of fine tipped pencils. So let's tackle these brows. I do wish this pencil was even more fine. It's a little bit blunt. So Fenty also has brow styler, like a brow pomade basically, but it's in a stick wax form. Listen, I swatched it, I touched it, I played with it, and I just know for a fact it is not gonna work for my fine, super fine, silky little brow hairs that I have. So I didn't get it, and I just, it's not a product that I would actually use. So I skipped that. I'm just gonna be fully honest, fully transparent. I know this is a full face of Fenty, but I'm not going to buy something that I know for a fact isn't going to work for me just to buy it. And you shouldn't either. Not the easiest brow pencil to work with. It's just not, first of all, it's not really sticking to my skin very well. So that's hard. Yeah, just not, it's not like very defining. It just kind of, it goes on and kind of like just blurs into your skin. Not my type of pencil. Probably a good pencil for many other people. It's just not my preferred formula. I have to cheat a little bit. I'm gonna grab my Patrick Ta Major Brow Laminating Gel. See if I can lay these brows down a bit more, because they're just not cooperating right now. You know, do you ever have those brow days, if you're like me and you have sparse brows, do you ever have those brow days where just, no matter what you do, your brows just don't, they just don't want to cooperate and they just don't want to do what you want them to do? That's this day for me. It's usually I average like 1 to 2 days a week where my brows just say, nope. Oh, you want us to look good? Nope. Sorry. You want us to stay up? Not happening. Better. This always saves. Any brow situation, it saves. Okay, now I am going to go back to the concealer. We're going to do more under the eye. More highlighting. Touch more here. A little more around my nose. Bring it down the center of my nose. A little more highlighting in the center between my brows. Love this formula. Gorgeous, gorgeous formula. And let's take another clean little half-caked, cute little half-caked beauty brush. This is a 407 Deluxe Buffer. Let's buff this out. I'm putting concealer on the side, the very corners of my mouth, as you can see, and I'm blending upward. And this is going to give a very slight lifted effect. Now we have not gone into the bronzing. Don't you worry, it's coming up. I'm going to use one of my favorite products, and I actually talk about this a lot. Well, maybe I don't talk about it a lot, but I have talked about it. So Fenty Beauty has a cream bronzer. in like the compacts, like the powders. But the shade Teddy, 05 Teddy, is the perfect undertone for an olive complexion. This has a slight olive undertone to it, and it is just, they nailed it with the shade. So I'm going to use this in a second to give my skin a more natural, bronzed, and sculpted effect. These are just a bit more on the sheer side versus the matchsticks. So this is going to give you more color payoff, more pigmentation. They're a little bit heavier. Whereas the cream formula, the Cheeks Out cream formula, is going to be a little more lightweight, slightly more sheer. So in case you're wondering which one to choose, I hope that answers your questions. Okay, I'm going to let the rest of this dry down and self-set for a bit while we get into Teddy. Can't wait to show you. It's just so beautiful. Now I'm going to apply it with a 107 from BK Beauty. This gives a really soft, natural finish to products. So I'm going to start on the top of my forehead and work my way down. But you can see it's got like this slight olive undertone. It's just stunning. I've loved this formula since they came out with it. Gives you a nice glowy look to your skin. It's like a glowy bronzed look. I just love it. It's such an easy formula. It's so pretty. I mean, it works. It does all the work for you. It just blends right into your skin. So I'm going to just do a little bit on my cheeks to warm them up. Not really to contour, just kind of adding some warmth to my skin. A little bit on my jawline. Now we're going to switch brushes. Switch gears. I'm just going to grab a 205 from BK Beauty. Has a slight angle on it. And we're going to just do a little bit of sculpting on the nose and cross over. Going back to that little half cake brush. Blend out the rest of this concealer. Kind of melt the two worlds together. I honestly cannot believe it took me this long to do a full face of Fenty. I had to actually look back and make sure that I didn't, because it just seemed odd that I didn't do a full face of this brand yet, because you know I'm a huge fan of Fenty. Because I've done Makeup by Mario, I've done NARS, I've done... Who else have I done? NARS, Makeup by Mario, Patrick Ta, Rare Beauty. Was that it? MAC. Yeah, it's just surprising that it took me this long to do a full face of Fenty. But worth the wait, I hope. Gorgeous. Love that. Before I set my under eyes, I'm going to do some blush, and I love Cool Berry from Fenty. Has been a favorite of mine for a long time. This one is mine. I also have a Cool Berry in my makeup kit. Between this one and Rose Latte, these are my absolute two must-have blushes from Fenty Beauty. But for this look, let's do Cool Berry. Let me show you how magical Cool Berry is on, and I'm going to apply this with a 109 from BK Beauty. Dip into it. It's just a stunning. I think this blush formula has got to be one of the most underrated cream blush formulas out there. I don't know why. Nobody talks about these, and at least in my circle and like the people that I see online and I talk to, and just the people in my circle, I guess, is the best way to put it. I don't feel like anyone talks about this cream blush, and I'm always surprised because I think it's just one of the best. And here is why. It stays put. It's long lasting. I don't have a problem with it like fading. Of course, blushes fade no matter what throughout the day, but I feel like this one doesn't fade half as much as other cream formulas do. It's just a great formula. There's just nothing like blush. Wakes up my whole face, brings it to life. Now, this is a glam look, let me warn you, okay? I know I said this is gonna be a lip focused look, but overall, this makeup look, this is for my people out there that love glam, like that want a glam, that want to see makeup, that want to have fun with it. All right, I could play with this blush all day long. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna move on. We're gonna go back to that butter powder. I'm going to take, let me just grab a powder puff. I'm gonna take my LH Cosmetics powder puff. I'm gonna get a good amount on my powder puff, swirl it into the palm of my hand. Before I do, I have a little bit of creasing that has happened. I'm gonna buff that out. We're gonna make sure we don't set any creases into our face. And then let's set the under eye. Very pretty. Okay, I need a little bit more. Just gonna tap some more in there. Now this powder is quite a bit lighter than my natural skin tone, so I am gonna get a bit of a brightening effect in the areas I place them more heavy-handed. So for example, you can visibly see it on the side of my nose. This is fine. I'm trying to get a reverse contour effect by lining that light powder up to the side of my nose where I have a bit of that cream bronzer for contour. So the contrast of it is just gonna bring out that cream bronzer even more. And then with whatever's left over, which is like nothing, I'm going to press it into the T-zone where I've slightly highlighted. So in between my brows, I'm going to press it into the T-zone and also the areas where I highlighted. So in between my brows, I'm going to press it along my temple. I got a comment recently, it was on Instagram, but it was about where I place concealer, light concealer, basically, highlighter, basically. So I like to highlight in and bring it out towards my temple right here. So a lot of people like to narrow this area. I don't. I don't want to narrow this area any more than it already is naturally narrowing. This narrows with age. So if the more hollow you make this little temple, this right here, it could make you look older than you actually are. So for me, so I got this comment, right? It was like, basically it was like, don't do this. I don't think she was trying to be mean necessarily, but it was like, she was basically flat out telling me like, don't do that. It's not flattering. Why do you want to widen your face there? Like doing this is going to widen your face. And I wrote back and I was like, yes, I know. That's why I'm doing it. I'm trying to widen that area of my face. I want to fill it in. I don't want it to look hollow. I don't want to look hollow anywhere, to be quite honest. Like personal preference, but I don't. But to each their own. But anyway, I thought it was funny, and it just reminds me of like how it always goes back to makeup is personal. That is a personal preference. I like to bring brightness here to widen that area. But for some people, they might want to make it more hollow. But again, personal preference. Okay, another personal preference. I love powder. I'm going to do a little bit more of this powder because I feel like I'm just wanting something to melt these worlds together with these products. And, this is going to be the ticket to get me there. So a little bit of that 230 Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I mean, I'm really just taking like the teeniest little bit and layering it. It's all about layers. I'm going to add the most stunning highlighter. Fenty has some of the best highlighters, I think, period, on the market. There's some of my favorite products of Fenty. This one is, before I open it, it's the Kilowatt. They're a duo powder highlighter. So there's two shades. There's Girl Next Door and Chic Freak. Are you ready? How just beautiful is this? I don't even want to touch it. It's stunning. Let's put this on. Let's finish this look with this, right? Okay, so we're gonna apply this with a 108 from BK Beauty. I'm gonna go just dip into that deeper shade. Tap off the excess. These work beautifully since this is a little bit, deeper in tone for a highlighter. These work beautifully as a blush topper, or as just if you want to wear this, like let's say you're very fair and you want to wear this just as a natural, very light, luminous blush, you could do that as well. But beautiful, just beautiful. I'm going to switch my brush, dip into this lighter one, and we're going to do some spotlight highlighting on the nose. Top of the bridge, I always leave the center bare, and I love to do the tip. This gives my nose a little bloop, like lift up. We're gonna do a little highlighting on the Cupid's bow. And let's just do a touch more right around here. I really need to hit the town with my makeup look today. We're gonna go back to this palette. Hold please, just when you thought it was done. Hold on. Dip back into this with a very old pencil brush. And I'm just gonna run a little bit more on the bottom lash line just to balance out this bottom lash line. And then dipping a touch more into this shimmery rosé shade. I thought about initially doing lashes for this look, but it's too much. It's too overwhelming. I don't want to do it. So we're going to skip that. We'll save it for another day. Now it's time for the grand finale. We're going to do some lips, and we're going to cocktail two different lip products. Both are going to be the liquid lipsticks. These are actually called Fenty Beauty Velvet Liquid. That's right. So these are the Velvet Liquid. The shade is 04 Riri, and this shade is HBIC 02. And this is going to be a popsicle style lip. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you in just a second. So we're going to be layering, but we're not going to go dark to light. We're going to go light to dark. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to start with Riri, which is already the most stunning deep mauve. Let me just get a little bit closer here. If you haven't tried this formula, I highly recommend it. Even though it's a liquid formula, it's a liquid velvet, it doesn't feel dry. It does feel like a velvet, cushiony, soft texture. So don't be afraid of it. It's not gonna feel dry. And the benefit is they last so long. So long. Let's just take a second to appreciate how beautiful this color is before I make it popsicle. And add HBIC just to the center. It's so easy. It's such a cool look. I highly encourage you to try it just for fun. So let's add this to this. The pigment on these, unreal. Like instead of like Strawberry Girl or Strawberry whatever it's called. What are the other ones? Latte. I love latte makeup, but that's like, that's been around forever. Renamed. Why don't we make this a trend? Like let's make popsicle lips a trend. Because it's way more interesting. It's so pretty. It's just so pretty. I'm such a huge fan of this. You have to let me know if you try this. I'm just gonna add a touch more. You know, doing looks like this and doing makeup like this, it really just helps to bring your passion out with makeup, you know? It reminds you of like what makeup is for. Makeup's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be experimental, and it shouldn't be so serious. Now, Fenty doesn't have a setting spray, so I'm gonna pull out my current favorite for hot days and when I just don't want my makeup to melt off my face. The One Size Until Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. This really is quite intense, but really works. Like, this is like your makeup is going to be shellacked onto your face. So if you don't want that, don't skip this. I want that for my makeup today for sure. It's gonna be like 100 degrees outside. So let me spray my face. And that is the final step in this full face of Fenty Beauty. You know, since I have some new things from Fenty that I hadn't tried before, I just want to do a little like product recap of what I think is worth it and what I maybe wouldn't repurchase again, just to be totally honest. So things I love from the brand. Let's just start on a high note. Things I love from the brand. I love the liquid velvet lipsticks. These are beautiful. They feel amazing. As you can see, they're highly pigmented. They're beautiful on. I think those are just wonderful products. This, I have to test more. Initial reaction, I love it. I think it's incredibly easy to work with. Like, I think anybody can put this on their skin and have an easy time blending it on, but I want to continue to use it before I give you like my complete thoughts. But initial first impressions is I really like this. So if you've tried it, let me know what you think too. The concealer, love the concealer. I think this is a great formula. I am so happy to finally have it. And to be honest, it's taken me years to buy this concealer for some reason, but this is a great full coverage concealer. You know I already love the mascara, so I don't need to talk about that anymore. I talk about this a lot. The powder bronzers are a must, especially if you're a makeup artist and you need good shades in your makeup kit to use on multiple clients. Fenty has you covered between the creams that I love and the powders. These are just must-haves for me. They're staples in my makeup kit professionally, and they're just some of the best, like by far. So you cannot go wrong with either of these. Get both. You can wear them both together or you can wear them alone. These are a must. The cream blushes, like I said earlier, these are so underrated. I think they're a phenomenal cream formula. They have gorgeous shades. They just, they're perfect. They're a perfect cream blush and they're cute and little compact. These are definitely worth trying. If you haven't tried them already, get on it, try these out. You know I love the liquid liner. The pencil liner was amazing as well. You don't have as much playtime to like manipulate them and to work with them and blend them out. So that's just something you should know going into it. I knew I had like very minimal time to get a wing out of this liner and I still tried it anyway, but you have to work quickly because it is a longer pencil, but it's still a great formula that will last. I'm sure this is not going to budge on my eyes. And then powder highlighters. I could go on about these for days. I love their powder highlighters. These are absolutely some of the best powder highlighters I think that are on the market, period. And they have a beautiful shade range of just unique, stunning shades. So definitely check these out. I have multiple of these in my kit. I love them. And lastly, the other product that I really enjoy, I've always been impressed by this. I've kept this in my professional makeup kit for a while as well. But this is the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. This has a nice smoothing effect to it. It definitely gives your skin a smooth, more airbrush quality to it. It lays beautifully under makeup. It really helps your makeup go on a little bit smoother, blend it on super quick, super easy. So all in all, I think this is a really great, straightforward primer. It does a great job, and I've liked it for a couple of years now. So this has definitely been a favorite of mine for a while. Now let's talk about things I just didn't, that are not like my must-haves. I wouldn't consider these my must-haves for Fenty, and I wouldn't go to Fenty to repurchase these products. So the first thing is the brow pencil. This was really underwhelming. It just didn't work well for my non-existent brow hair. It just didn't stick to my skin, and I even tried like my no-fill method of powdering my skin first so it actually has grip and it's not just slipping off my skin. Didn't love the way this went on. I'm not impressed with this, so I would skip the brow pencil, in my opinion. I would also highly suggest you skip the Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer Base. This just did nothing, and it actually made it more difficult to blend my eyeshadows on top, so I would definitely skip this. Personal opinion, but it did not work for me. The eyeshadow palette, it was really nice. It didn't blow me away. Like I said, I just expect a little more from Fenty because I'm always so impressed by all the products that they come out with. Taking that into consideration, I'm not really like here or there with eyeshadows personally. The other thing, the powder, you know, it's been a couple years since I've used this powder, so I'm going to wear this out today and see how it performs, see how it wears, see if it really keeps my skin matte and smooth and all those things, see if it keeps my makeup in place. But I'm a little bit on the fence about this formula currently. So share your thoughts below if you have strong opinions either way on this powder. I would love to hear your thoughts. I had so much fun doing this look for you all using all Fenty Beauty. When I get to sit down and do a full glam look, I am super happy. If you like this look using all Fenty Beauty, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already and you're liking what you're seeing, subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. And if you like full faces, I have so many more. I have Makeup by Mario, NARS, you name it, I have it. You can check them out right here. Leave me a comment. Let me know what full face of what brand you want to see next. I would love to hear from you all. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you soon. Bye.